In a P1, so it should be a pretty close race. And instantly you can see what I mean about drivatars learning where you drive. My drivatar's taken a shortcut that I've taught it, because whenever I free roam in this part of the world, that's the route I tend to take around Amalfi. And because they learn where you drive, like I said earlier, they pop up all over the open world in Horizon 2. And that gave us one of the coolest immersion features of Drivatar in Horizon 2. Let's say you have a friend who's played a lot more of the game than you have, and that friend has discovered some secrets or collectibles that you haven't. Just by following his Drivatar for 10, 15 minutes maybe, there's a good chance he's going to lead you to discover the same secrets that you haven't found yet. So just by following his Drivatar, your friend's actually helping you to play the game without him ever knowing it. And because Drivatar means that the credits he earns, the rewards he earns, you receive those rewards when you return to the game. But ultimately, the real success of Drivatar in Forza Motorsport 5 and again in Forza Horizon 2 is that it takes an area of racing games that's been stagnant for decades and it elevates it to something special, something memorable, like a water cooler moment. For us, gone are the days where computer-controlled bots, made-up names, are the people you're racing against. I mean, these are real people. It's your friends, your family. And when you see them next in real life, you talk about the things that you did together in your game. Alright, thanks. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about was skills. So in Horizon 2, we reward you just as much for driving stylishly as we do for winning, probably more so than any game since the PGR series. Now the original Horizon skill system, like the kudos system before it, actually encourages players to chain together driving skills to build big scores and earn some rewards, right? Now we've taken that core second-to-second system, and in Horizon 2 we've added enormous depth to it. So now by showing off on the open road, you know, weaving in and out of traffic, drifting, getting air, you'll earn skill points. And these skill points can be spent to unlock perks that enhance your gameplay experience or provide advantages in different parts of the game. So as we can see there, Andy's earned himself a skill point, and we have a whole host of skills that are going to be available to the player within the game. But let's call out a couple of examples. If you go top left, so this one's great, because when you've explored this massive open world, having this perk active means that at the touch of a button you can jump from one side to the other. The one below middle. This is one of my favourites because it allows us to reward the unsung heroes of the Forza franchise, the guys that take the time to create these stunning liveries or tuning setups that take a car and make it feel completely different. When they have this perk active, they'll get 25% more credits to spend in game whenever the community downloads and uses their latest creations. But the most important perk is the one that we make you unlock first, XP everywhere. Now when Andy unlocks this perk, that means he's earning XP from skills everywhere in the game. Doesn't matter if you're solo or online, if you're free roaming or you're in a race event, you're going to be earning XP, leveling up, earning wristbands and gaining new rewards. So no matter what you're doing within the game, no matter what part of the game you're in, you're constantly progressing within it. Should we jump back in? Okay, so next I'm going to talk to you about freedom and how freedom to explore underpins everything that we do with this game. So as we were designing our world, picking the most beautiful and varied parts of Southern Europe, we took the view within the design team that barriers should only exist in our world where you would find them in the real world. And to put that a little more plainly, if you could smash up some poor guy's vineyard in Tuscany in real life, I'm not suggesting that you do, but if you could, then you can do so in our game. And by pushing all of these barriers back, what that means for the game is we now have a world that's more than 3 times the size of the original Horizons in terms of drivable play space. And for me and my design team, that's been awesome, right? Because we now have 3 times as much space that we can fill with awesome content. Things that aren't just about racing, you know, collectibles, secrets, non-racing gameplay, things that encourage you to just pick a direction and drive and see what you might discover. But freedom to explore doesn't just speak to the world that we've designed, stretches off in a number of different directions. Freedom to explore extends to our car list. At the time of launch, Horizon 2 will have over 200 cars. Everything from modern supercars like the Lamborghini Huracán here to monster off-road train in northern Italy. Even racing a 150-foot cargo plane as it comes into land on a stormy night. I mean, they're bigger and more spectacular than they ever were before. And what all this means is that we have to have an epic number of championships in this game. Horizon 2 has over 700 unique events. And that means that we have a pretty conservative 100% completion time of somewhere between 150 and 200 hours. I mean, this is a massive, massive game. And Horizon is all about freedom in every direction, as I've said. Okay, so we've spoken to you about beauty and fun and freedom, three core principles of what we believe Horizon to be, not just to us as developers, but to the millions of people who've bought and enjoyed this game over the last couple of years. Now I want to talk to you about our vision for Horizon Online, our vision of a game that seamlessly connects its players, that brings them together. Now, we know that car culture is inherently social, and if you've ever been to a festival, you know that festivals are inherently social. The Xbox One as a console is inherently social, so we knew that Horizon 2 had to feel the same. And that means a game that goes beyond just multiplayer. That means features that enable social relationships, features that create community. Just as you could at a real-world festival, you go there with your friends, but we want you to make new friends while you're there. So we connect your world to the worlds of your friends in a number of different safe and simple ways, right? The game's map. That shows you when and where your friends are playing online. We have speed traps and speed zones littered all over the world, like that one, that compare your speed to the speed of your friends. The drive avatars show you the cars that they're buying, the liveries that they love, the places that they go. And when you make the decision to go online, we make that transition seamless. There's a number of ways to go online, and when you choose to do that, it happens instantly, right? Because in Horizon 2, there's no lobbies, there's no waiting. You can go from solo to online at the touch of a button without your car ever coming to a stop. And what that means is we have no separate component for progression. XP, leveling, wristbands and rewards, they're a constant regardless of whether you're playing solo with drive avatars or online with your friends. Now, as I said, we wanted to deliver an online vision that actually brings people together, that allows you to create new social ties. And that means features that aren't about racing at all. And there's a couple here that we're going to show you and talk to you about. So you guys are familiar with what a car meet is in real life. So we have these car meets all across the world. Andy's just driven into one now. So he enters this car meet from solo. Everyone in this car meet is another player playing the game. These are like an online hangout. You can just come in here to meet, to chat, to share tips. I mean, it's a great place to come in and let's say I love this guy's livery, right? You can see there at a touch of a button, I can download this livery for my car and the guy gets rewarded as a result. If I love the way he's tricked this car out, or the tuning setup that he's running on this car, again at the touch of a button, I can download that and he gets the rewards. It really is a great way to meet other people who are into their cars, the same sorts of cars as you are. And it's a fantastic place to, if you come in here from solo, you meet some people that have some shared interests with you and you can go on an online road trip together from the same car. So you leave into the online game from there, if that's what you want to do. And the next feature that I wanted to talk to you about is clubs. So we went back to the drawing board with clubs in Horizon 2. Again, we wanted clubs to be a feature where you could actively search for people who have the same sort of interests in the game as you do, want to do the same sorts of things within the game. And clubs is the feature that allows you to do that. If you want to create a club for just you and some of your close personal friends, then you can absolutely do that. But clubs have up to 1,000 members. So if you're part of a wider social network, then the clubs feature can be a home to that wider social network and allow you to play the game together. A Essentially, clubs are a great way to meet people with a shared interest. Thanks, man. They're a great way to compete together. But ultimately, they're just a great way to socialise together within the game. And what we hope these two features demonstrate to you is our vision for Horizon as an online game that enables social relationships, that actually creates these sorts of ties with people. Like I said earlier, just as you do in real life, you go to a festival with your friends, but when you're there, you make new friends. We want the same to be true of this game. So that's Horizon 2. I'll recap the things that I wanted you to take away, like I said at the top. So we've shown you next-gen beauty and how we've created it leveraging Xbox One's power and architecture. We've showed you the action-packed fun of Horizon and how it's been enhanced by drive-atar technology and a skill system that really does reward you for driving stylishly just as much as it does for winning. We've shown you how freedom to explore underpins everything that we do in the game, not just the world, but our car list and the massive amounts of content you're going to find in the game. And finally, our vision for Horizon Online. Simple enough that it instantly connects you with other people in the game, but deep enough to create real, long-term social ties. So I can appreciate that I've rattled through quite a lot of information in a fairly short period of time, but that is mainly time focused, right? I didn't get to tell you about music. The music is still just as important in Horizon 2 as it was in Horizon. I didn't talk to you about some of our new features like the bucket list in Horizon Pro, or returning features like the barn finds from last time round. But like I said, you guys have got a lot to do, we've got a lot to get through, so I apologise about that. But the last thing to say is that the road trip begins September 30th, exclusively on Xbox. Do we have time for questions?
Yep, it's about 11 hours.